medical coverage here at 9. Mental health is something sometimes people are often afraid to talk about, especially men. That's according to one Burrell Behavioral Health counselor. Color 10's Madison Heaver is here tonight with what that counselor says anxiety can look like if it's left untreated. Madison.
Yeah, David, when sitting down with one of Burrell's counselors about anxiety in men, she says the biggest problem is the stigma of getting help.
I have experienced that men do seem to have a little bit more of a stereotype or a stigma with getting help for anxiety or mental health issues. I think that I see a lot more shame associated with anxiety in men, where maybe they feel like they're supposed to be able to be more controlled or, be able to handle their emotions, and maybe that feels a little bit more out of control sometimes is what I hear them saying. That's hard to admit to. It's hard for anybody to admit to.
Robbins is a licensed professional counselor at Burrell Behavioral Health. She says one of the biggest problems with anxiety in men is that they're afraid to seek help because of the stigma associated with mental health. I
think that we have to be careful not to be telling men that they need to have feelings about coming in for help, because a lot of times what I've noticed is men don't as often come in without being prompted by somebody else.
And if left untreated, people may seek out coping mechanisms.
With anxiety, we see all different types of coping mechanisms, anything from drugs, alcohol, eating disorders, anything like that can be something that pops up as a way to try and manage the anxiety in kind of a short-term manner. If they are holding in those emotions, that it can a lot of times come out as anger, because anger is a lot easier to express than saying, I'm really, really worried, I'm really anxious about something.
Robbins says sometimes people experiencing anxiety may not be willing to come forward and be the first one to talk about it.
If you're noticing something seems a little bit off with someone that you care about, it's never a bad idea just to check in and say, hey, are you okay? And just make sure, because maybe it's something that they don't feel comfortable talking about. So if you kind of initiate that and make it a safe space to talk about these things and normalize it a little bit, then it makes people feel more comfortable.
Robbins suggests if you have no one to talk to try talking to your primary care doctor. Then you can both work together to find a solution. David.
Good.